Kim emerged, miraculously transformed into her younger self. The crowd outside gasped in awe and excitement. Word spread even faster now about Baba's magic manhood, and Baba's heart became a hub of activity. In the quaint village of Iwokoto, nestled among rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a boy named Babajit. From the moment he could walk, Baba Jade was known for his laziness. Unlike other children who eagerly assisted their parents with chores, Baba Jade preferred to eat, play, and sleep. His mother Aduni and his father Balyagun despaired at their son's lack of ambition. While his peers fetched water, tended to the fields, and learned trades, Baba Jade wandered aimlessly, always looking for a comfortable spot to nap. As Baba grew older, his reputation spread throughout the village. Elders shook their heads in disapproval, and even the children knew better than to ask him for help. He would often be seen lounging under the ancient baobab tree, avoiding any form of labor. If sent on an errand, Babidi would invariably return late, having spent most of the time playing games or dozing off. His unreliability became a running joke, and many villagers referred to him as the useless one. Despite the growing concerns of his parents, Baba remained indifferent to their pleas. Balaganin, a respected farmer, often lamented to his wife, "What will become of our son Aduni? He grows older, yet he has no skills, no work ethic. How will he survive when we are gone?" Aden's heart ached for her son. "We must keep trying, my husband," she insisted. "Perhaps he will change in time. We must not give up on him." In their desperation, Baba's parents approached various artisans in the village, pleading with them to take their son as an apprentice. The blacksmith, the potter, the weaver, each one agreed, initially only to send Baba away after witnessing his laziness firsthand. No one wanted to waste their time on someone who seemed incapable of effort. One day, after another fruitless attempt to find a mentor for Babai, Balagan and Aduni sat in their hut dejected. "What more can we do?" Balagan asked, his voice tinged with despair. Aduni sighed heavily. "We must continue to pray and hope. Perhaps something or someone will come along to change his heart." Babai's father Balagan decided to give him his own hut, so he could live on his own. Probably he was too comfortable while living with them, and maybe he could adjust to fend for himself. One evening, as Babidi strolled home from playing the draft board game with his friends and drinking palm wine, he stumbled upon an old woman struggling with a heavy load. She was bent over, her frail frame trembling with the effort of carrying her burden. Seeing Baba Jade, she called out, "Young man, please help me with my load." Baba Jed looked at her with disdain. "Why should I? I am tired and have no strength left to carry your things." The old woman, unwilling to give up easily, offered a tempting proposition. "If you help me, I will give you a token of appreciation, something that may be of value to you." Baba Jed's curiosity was piqued. He thought of the money or goods she might give him, something he could use to indulge in more palm wine and games. Reluctantly, he agreed. "Fine, I will help you, but only because you promised to reward me." Grumbling, he hefted the old woman's load onto his shoulder and followed her. The path was long and winding, leading them away from the heart of the village. As they walked, the old woman spoke of times long past, of spirits and magic, but Baba Jed paid little attention, eager to complete the task and receive his reward. When they finally reached her modest hut at the edge of the forest, the old woman thanked him profusely. "You have been very kind, young man. As promised, here is your reward." She handed him a single collar nut. Baba Jed stared at the nut in disbelief. "This is my reward, a kola nut. What use is this to me?" The old woman smiled enigmatically. "This kola nut is special. Eat it and you will be blessed." Frustrated and feeling cheated, Baba pocketed the nut without another word and trudged back to his home, muttering under his breath. Little did he know that this seemingly insignificant encounter would set in motion a series of events that would change his life forever. The days passed and Baba Jed soon forgot about the old woman and her peculiar gift. His life continued as before, filled with idleness and avoidance of any form of work. One evening, after a particularly indulgent session of drinking palm wine, Baba staggered home, his thoughts hazy and disjointed. As he fumbled in his pockets for his house seek, his fingers brushed against the kola nut. In his drunken state, he remembered the old woman's words, "Eat it and you will be blessed." Baba Jed scoffed at the memory, but driven by a combination of curiosity and drunken bravado, he decided to eat the colonut. It tasted bitter and earthy, but he finished it quickly, hoping it might at least sober him up a bit. With that, he collapsed onto his mat and fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, Babai woke up feeling surprisingly refreshed. The usual fog of laziness seemed to have lifted, replaced by a peculiar sense of energy. However, as the day wore on, a different kind of restlessness took hold, a powerful, almost overwhelming desire. It was unlike anything he had ever felt before. He was having an unusual sexual urge. Despite having no money, Baba found himself wandering toward the outskirts of the village, where the local prostitutes plied their trade. This was an area he frequented despite his usual lack of funds. Today, however, his desperation was palpable. Approaching the women, he was met with the usual rejection. None were willing to entertain him without payment, and his reputation for being penniless did not help his cause. Just as Baba Jade was about to give up, an older woman named Madam Shad approached him. She was known among the villagers, but seldom found customers due to her age. Seeing Baba's desperation, she took pity on him. "Young man, it seems you are in need of some company. Come with me. Today I will not ask for payment." Relieved and eager, Baba followed Madam Shahi to her hut. She welcomed him warmly, and after their encounter, Baba fell into a deep sleep. Hours later, Madam Shade woke him gently, urging him to leave before anyone noticed. Groggily, Baba Jade rose, but something was different. As he looked at Madam Shadi, he felt a strange sense of disorientation. "Who are you?" Baba Jade asked, genuinely perplexed. Madam Shadi laughed, thinking it a joke. "It's me, Madam Shad. Have you forgotten already?" But Baba's confusion was real. "No, you don't understand. Who are you and where is Madam Shadid?" The woman's laughter faded as she realized he was serious. She turned to a small mirror hanging on the wall and gasped. Reflected back at her was not the face of an older woman, but her younger self, radiant and full of life. "What have you done?" she whispered to Ruck. "How did this happen?" Baba shook his head, equally bewildered. "I don't know. I didn't do anything." Madam Shade, now young again, embraced Babai with joy. "You have given me back my youth. This is a miracle." Grateful and overjoyed, she showered Baba Jade with gifts, food, money, and more. Baba Jade accepted them, but his mind was elsewhere, struggling to comprehend what had just happened. As he walked home, ABA laden with his newfound wealth, he pondered the strange turn of events. The next morning, awoke to a commotion outside his hut. Peering out, he was shocked to see a long line of older women, all eager and excited, waiting for him. Word had spread quickly about Madam Shade's transformation and Baba Jade's magic manhood, and now they all wanted the same miracle. Baba Jade realized with a mix of dread and excitement that he possessed a rare and powerful gift, one that could change his fortunes forever. Yet as he looked at the eager faces of the women, he couldn't shake a lingering sense of unease. What had the old woman given him? And what price would he ultimately pay for this newfound power? The line of women outside Baba's hut stretched far, with each one clamoring for a chance to regain their youth. The news of Madam Shade's transformation had spread far and wide, and now every woman over the age of 40 wanted a piece of the miracle. Baba Jade, who had been the ville's laughingstock for years, now found himself at the center of attention, though not for reasons he had ever anticipated. Baba quickly realized the potential of his newfound gift. What if he could turn this strange power into a business? The idea was both enticing and frightening. He had always been lazy, but now driven by the promise of wealth and the adulation of women, he found a new sense of purpose. He would charge for his services, ensuring that he could continue living in comfort and luxury. The first woman in line was a widow named Kim, well into her 50s, who had once been known for her beauty. She stepped forward, her eyes filled with hope and desperation. "Babai, please help me. I will give you anything you want." Babai nodded, trying to maintain a facade of seriousness. "It will cost you, Kim. I do not do this for free." Kim eagerly agreed, handing over a small pouch of coins and some food items. Babajid led her inside, and after a brief encounter, Kim emerged, miraculously transformed into her younger self. The crowd outside gasped in awe and excitement. Word spread even faster now about Baba's magic manhood, and Baba's hut became a hub of activity. Women from neighboring villages began arriving, each bearing gifts and payments in exchange for Babajid's unique service. He was no longer the lazy good-for-no man. He was now seen as a savior, a miracle worker. With his newfound wealth, Babajid's lifestyle changed dramatically. He moved into a larger hut, decorated it with the finest furnishings, and hired servants to attend to his needs. He wore the best clothes and indulged in the finest foods and wines. He was living the life of a king. But as his business boomed, Babajid couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. He remembered the old woman and her cryptic promise of a blessing. What if this gift had consequences he had not yet considered? One night, after another successful day of transforming women, Babai decided to visit the old woman's hut to seek answers. Under the cover of darkness, he made his way to the edge of the forest, where he had helped the old woman with her load. But when he arrived, he was shocked to find the hut gone. The land where it had stood was flat and empty, with no sign of the dwelling or the woman. Baba Jide searched the area frantically, calling out for the old woman, but there was no response. Confused and a little frightened, Baba Jide returned home. The mystery of the old woman and the kola nut weighed heavily on his mind. He couldn't help but wonder what he had unleashed and what the future held for him. As Baba Jade lay in bed, he thought about his life and the choices he had made. He had gone from being a lazy, irresponsible boy to a man with a strange and powerful gift. But with great power came great responsibility, and Baba Jade was beginning to understand that his actions had consequences. Little did he know that the true cost of his gift was yet to be revealed, and the events that would soon unfold would test his character, his courage, and his very soul. Baba Jide woke up one morning feeling weak. His body ached and his heart was heavy. When he stepped outside, his servants looked at him strangely. One of them, a kin, hesitated before speaking. "Master, you look so old." "Old?" Baba Jude rushed to the polished mirror in his hut. He gasped. His once youthful face was now wrinkled and frail. His hair had turned white, and his hands trembled like those of a very old man. Panic filled his chest. How could this happen? He staggered back inside and thought of all the women he had transformed. Could it be that every time he restored their youth, it came from his own life? He buried his face in his hands, tears streaming down his cheeks. His wealth, his fame, none of it mattered now. He was aging rapidly, and if this continued, he would die. Desperate, Baba made his way back to the edge of the forest where the old woman's hut had once stood, but it was still empty. Just as he turned to leave, he saw a child, not taller than his waist, dressed in a white cloak. The child's eyes shone like the moon, and his voice was gentle yet firm. "Why do you seek the old woman?" the boy asked. Baba Jade fell to his knees. "I need her help. She gave me a gift, but it is killing me. Please, do you know where she is?" The boy's gaze was piercing. "Do you know what you've done, Baba Jade? Each time you gave a woman her youth, it came from your own life force. The old woman warned you, but you misused her gift. Now you are paying the price." Baba's voice trembled. "Please, I didn't understand. Tell me where to find her. I will beg for her forgiveness." The boy sighed and pointed to the distant hills. "The journey will not be easy, but if you truly seek redemption, you will find her there." Without delay, Baba Jade began his journey. The path was harsh. Thorny bushes tore at his skin, and the scorching sun beat down on him. His frail body struggled, but he pressed on, driven by the hope of saving his life. After days of travel, he reached a cave at the base of the hills. Inside, the old woman sat by a glowing fire, her face calm, but stern. "You return to me, Baba Jade," she said without looking up. "Why?" Baba Jade fell at her feet. "I was a fool. I misused your gift. Please forgive me. Tell me how to make things right." The old woman studied him for a long moment. "Your greed and laziness have brought you to this point, but I will give you a choice. You can remain old and die soon, or you can give up everything you have, your wealth, your comfort, and start over as an honest man. The choice is yours." Baba wept. He thought of his riches, his servants, and the life of ease he had known. But what good were those things if he wouldn't live to enjoy them? "I will give it all up," he whispered. "I will start anew." The old woman nodded. "Very well. She handed him a gourd filled with bitter liquid. "Drink this, and your life will be restored. But remember, this is your second chance. Do not waste it." Baba Jed drank the potion. Instantly, he felt a warmth spread through his body. His strength returned, and his face grew young again. But when he returned to the village, his hut, his wealth, and even his servants were gone. He was left with only the clothes on his back. From that day on, Baba Jed worked hard as a farmer, planting yams and tending to his fields. He learned the value of honesty and effort. Though his life was simple, it was filled with peace and purpose. And so Baba became a new man, a living reminder to the villagers of the dangers of greed and the power of redemption.